Morning everyone and welcome back to the vlog. I'm at the Loop of Fintry, which is over by in Stirling, and this is a bit of a recce for me. The forecast today was a bit of sunshine, bit of rain, bit of cloud, and of course in true Scotland style it's mainly cloud, but it should be good because what I've read about these series of falls, which I don't know if you can just make them out behind me, but they're supposed to be at their best when we've had a lot of rainfall, and we've had a lot of rainfall. So, and just from here, it really does look a sort of a really intriguing area. It looks like there's lots of different falls, different shapes of the water coming off there. So I think there's going to be a lot to photograph, and this could be the perfect weather for it. Overcast, not too many reflections, and so I'm really looking forward to getting down there. I think the path's up over the hill a little bit there, so and I'm going to make my way and see what I can find. So I knew the day was going to be a bit of an adventure, trying to get the best view of the falls, scrambling through trees and undergrowth, and ending up back where I started to capture my favourite image of the day. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video for that dramatic shot. If you do decide to come out here for the first time yourself, just to warn you, there's not a lot of parking. It's a country road all the way down through here. I saw a couple of places that you could pull in and manage to get in a bit further down the road. But the nice thing about it is it probably means there aren't going to be a lot of people here. So probably going to have the place to ourselves. Looking from this viewpoint, I'm not sure how much of these falls you can actually access. I think once I get down along around the path and to the top there, I don't know whether it's because there's so much water coming down or whether it's just a tricky location. So this is obviously a fairly well-used viewing point. So what I think I'm going to do is, before I get down into there, is get just a couple of shots of the main falls coming off the top. I've put on my 70 to 200mm lens. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch, but I think it would be nice to get an image just before I get right down in there and start exploring down a little bit lower. But it just depends how much of that is accessible. So anyway, I'm looking forward to getting down there and trying. But for now, I'm going to set up the tripod and get a shot of those top falls. So I've just put on a polarizer. I think sometimes there's a tendency to forget that you still need a polarizer when you're shooting at these sort of distances with a long lens, but there's quite a lot of reflection coming off the top part of the river coming down as it comes across down to the first group of falls there. Now this isn't going to be a very artistic shot. It's I'm really just sort of, with the 200mm lens, I can't get in that close, but I think it's a good opportunity just to capture the top part of those falls. I think it would be nice. I really like that small grouping of rocks in the front there. Let me just show you what I'm looking at on the back of the camera. So you can see it really is not an artistic shot. It really is just a sort of a overall view of that top section of the falls. I'm on my 70 to 200mm lens, 200mm in, and I can't get any closer than that. But it is nice. I like the rocks that are just at the front there. If I turn the polarizer, you can see just how much reflection's being knocked back on that river that comes across the top just before it gets to the falls. It really is knocking back some of that reflection, which is good. I'm going to sort of try and shoot it around about a sixth of a second, just to capture a little bit of movement in the falls, but not too much that we lose all that nice detail. So we'll get a shot from up here, and then I'm going to try and work my way along the top there and just see if there's some smaller features I can get to, and possibly see if there's any way further down, because some of the falls down below look really nice. They're really well separated, hitting the rocks, which is beautiful. It would be a shame if all the photography's got to be done from up here. But anyway, let me take this first shot. Here's the image. So I've got a little bit sidetracked by the trees, which I know, we're surprised, Andy, sidetracked by trees again. If you follow the vlog, you know that that's a common theme, but I've been trying to find a way to get to the bottom falls coming down to the sort of burn a bit. And but as I was coming down, the light caught the trees, and I don't know if you can see from there, but one of the trees has got this beautiful yellow top to it, just sat in the bottom there, and there's some sort of zigzagging kind of going on in through. I think there may be a wall and a fence coming down, and then I don't know if you can see now, but that one of those trees is just being hit by that light, and it really is beautiful. It's very soft. I think there must be some silver birch in there, and they've just got those sort of wispy winter branches to them, sort of thing. But it really is beautiful. I mean, it's a stunning scene with the rocks and everything as well, but what's really catching my eye is those trees. So I'm just going to drop on the 70 to 200mm lens, zoom in a bit and see if I can just frame up a nice image, just capturing them as that light. Look at that light now, just touching that yellow tree in the backdrop there and just coming down the side. It's beautiful. So let me see if I can just capture that while I'm here. So this is the scene that's caught my eye. You can see that I'm just looking off into the distance at the trees here, and at the moment it's incredibly bright on that sort of field behind, which is really sort of too strong. But every now and again that light comes across closer to me, that hill loses the light, but the trees in front capture it. I don't know if you can see, there's this one tree in particular that's just capturing the light now, and then that yellow tree at the front there in the foreground. What I'm trying to do is capture it so that we've got that light but not on the hill behind. I could be asking for a little bit too much. Well, that's incredibly bright now. But what I really like about this image is we've got this kind of zigzag starting at the bottom left corner, comes up, there's a wall that runs along the back of there, and then a fence line that runs off to the next side, and then we've got this bank of bracken, brown bracken, that comes up to my top right. We've almost got this sort of zigzag through the image, drawing your eye through. It's a lovely scene. It just depends on whether I can get that light just right. I don't know, I may be able to crop out that top part of the field, although I think I'll be then cropping into those trees. So I think in this instance, it really is worth just waiting for that light just to be absolutely perfect. It's beautiful when it hits that front tree with the yellow on it, just in my foreground interest there. But definitely too harsh on the backdrop. So we've got some more cloud cover just coming through now. So I'm just going to wait for that light just so that it's perfect. Not too strong behind, just coming through, sweeping through the trees. Almost now, actually. That's beautiful coming through there. So anyway, we'll wait. I'll take a few shots, and if the light is just right, here's the image. The River Endrick winds its way through Campsie Fells and Fintry Hills to a stunning waterfall, cascading down multiple levels of rock into a side-on gorge. It's definitely not an easy waterfall to photograph, as getting to the foot of the falls is near impossible, and the 94-foot plunge from the top creates its own challenges. So this is beautiful here up on the top falls. I can just get down a little bit lower. I'm probably going to try and see if I can get out on that rock there. This is stunning, this falls here, but just behind the main one that comes down is another little group that's not coming down quite so heavy and then dropping onto some beautiful rocks that are catching the light below. There's a large boulder down here that sort of is forming a bridge where the water's coming down through. And then you're looking out into that beautiful glen through there with the light. It's stunning. I don't know whether there's an image to be had shooting across the falls and into the background there. Maybe if this wasn't coming down quite so heavy, but we'll see. There's a little bit limited on where you can take images from. There was definitely no way of getting up through the trees down the bottom there. It was very boggy and way too overgrown. So I think this is the best sort of position you're going to get to. So anyway, gonna sort of scramble around a bit, see if I can find some good compositions and then set up the camera. So what I think I'm going to try and do is get myself down in here so that I'm shooting down through the glen across the falls. It's not easy to get in at because some of these rocks are incredibly slippery. It's a straight drop down there and I'm not going to do anything stupid. So I think in this instance what I'm going to do is just shoot across these falls here, off out into those hills behind. I don't know if you can see, but there's a beautiful bit of rock cliff face sort of in the distance there with the trees behind, which every now and again catches the light with the dark cloud behind it, which would be beautiful shooting the waterfall with that, looking off into the distance. But it does depend on where I can position the camera to get that shot, still including some of this lovely water coming down. So anyway, I'll set up the tripod, set up the camera, and let's have a look, see what we can see. So hopefully you can see on the back of my camera how I've got this set up. I've got the falls at the front here, just cascading down with a beautiful bit of foreground interest. And then the hill behind that is really just catching that light. Now I've been shooting on around, it says a fifth of a minute, but I'm shooting around about 15th of a second because I really want to make sure that I capture the detail in that water. And what I'm doing, once I've taken that image, let me just go back to where I've taken my shot here. And what I'm doing is I'm zooming right in and I'm just checking those very bright hot spots of the water there just to make sure that it's retaining that detail in the water. Perhaps that's lost it a little bit and I might need a slightly quicker shutter speed. It's a tricky shot. You can see that I'm just starting to blow out on the light there on the background behind. But it's a stunning start to photograph in the top of the falls here. And I'm really lucky with this light, and there's plenty of cloud cover to sort of knock back some of that glaring light off of the water. The polarizer's helping as well. But anyway, let's set this up. I'll probably adjust a few times. I like this tree on the left-hand side just coming up into my gap here. And as I say, that point of focus with the rocks behind is quite stunning. I'll probably have to focus stack a little bit because my foreground interest is quite close to where I am. I'll probably shoot it on about a f/16, but I think still get all of that shot and be lucky. Anyway, let's take this shot, and here's the image. So I managed to get myself right round onto this rock. It's about as far out as I can get and still feel safe. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of rain so it's incredibly slippery on the top here. So what I'm doing is I've got my foot hooked over the back and got myself nice and low. But I think it's worth it to get the shot. You may decide not, but anyway, what I've done is I've come right round to capture these falls coming down. Unfortunately, I can't get around far enough to exclude this large fall that's coming down in front of me. But let me show you what I'm looking at in the back of the camera. So you can see the way I've got the camera set up. We've got these beautiful two falls at the backdrop here coming down. What I really like are the rocks. If I just zoom out a little bit, you can see those rocks just reflecting the light. I've got a little bit of polarizer on, but I don't want to knock that light back too far. But what's really sort of causing a bit of a problem is this main fall's coming down in my left-hand corner. It's very distracting, and it's going to be a very bright area on my scene. So I think I'll have to really knock that back in post so that it doesn't really sort of draw the eye in to the left of the image there. I want the eye taken out through. What I am doing is zooming in a little bit just to knock out that sky. I don't want that in my scene. But look at the way that light is just capturing the trees on the sides. It really is quite stunning. And the nice thing about those two back falls is that the water's not coming down too heavy. So again, what I'm doing is I'm taking a shot on around about a 15th of a second, and I'm zooming in just to make sure that I've got all of the detail in those bright spots. And yeah, I think it's absolutely stunning. It's a shame you can't get to the lower part of the falls, or not that I've found that you can yet, but it's a great spot. Do be careful if you come up here though. The rocks are incredibly slippery this time of the year. Anyway, let's get this shot, and here's the image. Well, this really has been the perfect location for an overcast day. It's been a bit of a struggle. We really couldn't find a way up through the bottom of the falls there. So most of what you can photograph are on the top here, but it is a dramatic scene with those hills behind looking through the glen. You can see that the weather's just starting to change, starting to get the rain's just starting to come in. So taking away the shots, don't forget, whenever you're photographing those waterfall scenes, zoom in, make sure you've got that detail and it's not blown out in the highlights, because there's nothing worse getting back and looking at mushy images with no detail in them. But what a location. It's a shame I haven't been able to get to the bottom of the falls, but it's been nice getting some shots at the top. And I think we've seen one group of people, and that's been absolutely it. It's been absolutely stunning out here. So anyway, thank you so much for watching the vlog. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. Let me know if you've been here before. And I think that's it. Look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.